start the recording? All right, so it's another brand new week, and I want to welcome everyone on board to this morning analysis. This is the platform where we give you insights into what is going to happen, for the day, and most importantly, even for the week. Because on Monday analysis, we show you the outlook of the market, both for the Monday session and even, by extension, the other days of the week. We look at both medium and long term outlook of the market. If you're joining us for the first time, this is PU Prime. We have our head office in Australia, and we have two offices in Nigeria, both Abuja and Lagos. So we first look at the fundamental analysis. We check out the fundamentals, then we go straight to the technicals to see what the chart is saying for the day and even by extension for the week. Now, because of time, we look at just the key events which will take place from the fundamental angle. And I'll start with today. Today being Monday, 7 a.m., it's just some 26 minutes ago, there was claimant count change. It's an event that already took place, a high impact event from the United Kingdom. But then the other events that are all today that are of importance is the USD core CPI monthly, the CPI monthly, and the CPI yearly, which will take place by 1:30 p.m. this afternoon. So we should take note of that. This will move. Oh, sorry, this is on Tuesday. Pardon me. I'm looking at Tuesday. Monday, there is no tradable event for today, Monday, but the one I'm mentioning is Tuesday. Tuesday, 7 a.m., there'll be claimant count change, and by 1:30 p.m., we have the core CPI, CPI monthly, and the CPI yearly. That'll be tomorrow. So, a lot of volatility is expected in the market tomorrow, Tuesday. And on Wednesday, we don't really have much important event on Wednesday. On Thursday, the key event on Thursday, we have employment change and unemployment rate by 2:30 a.m. And also 7 a.m. there will be GDP, that's gross domestic product, GDP monthly, then prelim GDP quarterly. Both will take place 7 a.m. on Thursday. It is expected to move the market. And I think Thursday is a major day for events for this week. So 1:30 p.m. we have about 5 to 6 events by 1:30 p.m. from United States, from core PPI to core retail sales, PPI monthly, retail sales, unemployment claims, Empire State Manufacturing Index, Philly Fed Manufacturing Index. I tell you, Thursday is loaded with a lot of volatility. Just watch out for Thursday. All things being equal, if it comes out all good or bad, we'll see, and that can guide our trading for that day. And on Friday, the key event on Friday is the prelim UOM consumer sentiment and prelim UOM inflation expectations. So these are just the events we should watch out for to trade in the course of this week. So if you're there, you don't have time to check the charts every now and then. You want to just stick with trading news. These are the events you should stick with. If you came in a bit late, don't worry. The recorded version of this analysis will be made available on your WhatsApp group and even on our YouTube channel. And from there, you can always, watch a repeat of this analysis session if you joined us late. So I'm going to switch over to the charts. We'll look at what the charts, what we have on the chart that will help us trade the market better this week. And I'll start with my outlook on the GBP USD. It's yet to evolve into what I'm analyzing completely, but I still hold on to that outlook, and hopefully let's see how the week goes on the GBP USD. If you've joined my analysis for quite some time, I maintained an overall outlook, a bearish outlook on the GBP USD. Though, like I said last week, Friday, price, I remember telling us on Friday that price, closed on the support level here, and as such, we expected some bounce in the bullish direction, and that's exactly what happened. But then let's see this week if it's going to reverse. So we're still watchful. If it reverses and breaks out below the support zone, yes, we're getting ready for a massive bearish breakout on the GBP USD. We can see price drop to the tune of 200 to 400 pips if that breakout happens. So I still keep my fingers crossed, and I'm watching the GBP USD closely. Now, generally this week, there seems to be some quietness on a lot of setup, but then there are still a few which I can show us that I'm looking out for, for some volatility in the course of this week. And I'll be looking closely at the Euro AUD for this week, and this is more a swing setup, though you can still always make an entry on 1 hour if you want to. And why am I watching this instrument closely? Price, there was an initial resistance here. Price broke the resistance and hit the support level here. So we expect a continuation in the bullish direction for the Euro AUD in the course of this week. If we flip down to 4 hour time frame, we can see a falling wedge pattern, and it's not complete yet, but this may possibly form a kind of a double bottom pattern which may drive price up. It's still an evolving pattern. Price is back to that support zone. So if price is unable to break below the support zone, then we may see a reversal from here. And if that happens, we will end up having a double bottom pattern, which normally is expected to trigger price into the bullish direction. So we can keep our fingers crossed and watch as the week unfolds, if this will go in that direction as anticipated. But generally, I hold a bullish outlook on the Euro AUD. And I'm also looking at the GBP JPY and the CHF JPY. These are two instruments that seems to be forming a setup that could be tradable. All right, so for the GBP JPY, I held a bearish outlook on this instrument last week, but just like the GBP USD, the market didn't go in that direction. There seems to be more of a retracement than price going in the anticipated direction. So there's a possibility that we may see the outcome we're expecting this week. You can see the descending trend line is still valid, and price is back to a resistance level here. So we have a form of a confluence here between the descending trend line of the daily and the weekly time frame and a resistance here. So technically we should see the bearish movement in price possibly today. This looks a lot more like an intraday setup. Let's go down to the 4 hour. Not too much on 4 hour. This is 1 hour. In fact, we can still flip this down to 15 minutes time frame. And on 15 minutes time frame, I can clearly see a shoulder ahead, possibly a second shoulder, and we may see a drop. And we can additionally still draw a trend line right here, to help us capture the breakout better and faster. Now, all things being equal, if price is able to break out below this lower trend line, then we will see a drop in GBP, the JPY. So this is purely an intraday setup. We hold a bearish outlook on the GBP JPY, and using as an entry below this in Fibonacci level. Okay, not even below the Fibonacci level this time around. I will want to respect the neckline region, and that will be this. To be this zone. All right, so if a new price, if a new candle opens below that zone, then we may see price drop to the tune of about 37 pips to Fibonacci 50, and about 61.8 pips to Fibonacci, sorry, about 57 pips rather to Fibonacci 61.8. So let's just say roughly between 35 and 55 pips is being anticipated if this pattern I'm seeing on the GBP JPY, if it evolves exactly the way we are seeing it at the moment. So we hold a bearish outlook on the GBP JPY. And I'm seeing almost a similar pattern on the CHF JPY, though I'll put more of my attention on the GBP JPY, but we can't completely ignore the CHF JPY likewise. Now for the CHF JPY, this is also my outlook. We have a trend line there, and we have a second one right here to form something that looks like a symmetrical triangle. Okay, so it looks a lot like a symmetrical triangle, but then on a closer look within this pattern, we can also see what is looking like the formation of a shoulder, a second shoulder, and we may anticipate a breakout. So in the course of today also, all these are purely intraday setup. The only swing setup I've given so far is the Euro AUD. Aside that, every other setup I've given, they are all intraday. So we have a neckline region. Okay, I think that will not work that way. We should look at the neckline from this angle because that one is, bouncing upwards. So if price is able to break out below this lower, the tip of this shadow and the trend line, then we'll anticipate a bearish breakout on the CHF JPY. And the anticipated profit level on this can be in the range of about 32 pips, let's just say roughly 30 pips to Fibonacci 50 and 65 pips to Fibonacci 61.8. So you can see that we have some very valid setup on both the GBP JPY and the CHF JPY. Whichever one triggers first, you can take out of the two of them. And finally, I'll be looking at the XRP. That's the Ripple. XRP is a cryptocurrency and it's a major one being adopted by the United States government as a reserve currency in the US. So there's a lot of volatility on it at this period because of this adoption and the fact that Donald Trump administration is a pro crypto currency administration. Now for XRP, price hit a resistance zone on the daily time frame, which you can see right here with that resistance zone bar over there. And if we flip down to 1 hour time frame, we can see the formation of a head and shoulder pattern also. It's still evolving, and if it evolves eventually, it will lead to a reversal. Generally, you must have heard me keep talking about this head and shoulder because it keeps springing up. See, as a trader, you don't decide what you want to do, you follow the market where it's going. So if the market is giving us a head and shoulder pattern, it means that reversal in the bearish direction is very, very imminent. So you can see the neckline region over there. By principle, we're to look for entry when price touches the tip of the shadow of the neckline. So if that happens, we may look at taking a sell trade, and we can use our Fibonacci to measure our profit taking level. And from this Fibonacci level here, which is close to the tip of the shadow, to the next Fibonacci level at 50, that is from Fibonacci 30 to Fibonacci 50, can give as much as about 40, 45, 46 pips, and to Fibonacci 61.8 can give about 90 pips. So we anticipate about 40 to 90 pips on XRP. All right, so that's all I have for us this morning. I'll do a little recap again, and if you have any question, you can go ahead and start typing them in the comment section. I've analyzed about 5 instruments this morning. GBP USD is actually a previous analysis from last week, which we anticipate could evolve into a proper trade this week if the market goes in that direction. And I said we anticipate about 200 to 400 pip move on the GBP USD if things work out as planned. For Euro AUD, I'm bullish on 4 hour. It's a swing setup. I'm bullish on 4 hour. For GBP JPY, I'm bearish on 15 minutes. 1 hour, 15 minutes thereabouts is an intraday setup, which we anticipate will break out in the course of today. And CHF JPY, likewise, I'm bearish on 1 hour, and XRP, I'm bearish on 1 hour. So these are the key events, key instruments we're looking at for today, Monday, the 12th of May, 2025. So go to the comment section. Rex Peters is asking me to check AUD JPY, Benedicta Gold. So let's check both uh, AUD JPY and gold. All right, so this is AUD JPY. Okay, so now this is AUDJPY. Price is currently trading at a previous support, rather turned resistance zone. You can see over there. That's on the weekly time frame. Come to the daily, is still on that zone. 4 hour and finally 1 hour. So if price is unable to break that zone, I think we should still flip back to 15 minutes. So there was a big gap here. Just like the other JPY pairs, we still anticipate a bearish movement on this instrument. There's not having additional, uh, patterns like we saw on the GBP JPY and the CHF JPY, but notwithstanding, even with the trend line break, if price is able to break out below this trend line, we will see a bearish movement on the AUD JPY. So we're bearish on the AUD JPY. See, most of the JPY pairs are having bearish outlook. But that doesn't mean you should just dump a sell on all of them. I've analyzed two of them. They are bearish. This is the third one is bearish. Generally, since they are all JPYs, then if you're seeing the same thing, the same direction on about three of them, you know, uh, that means something is happening to the Japanese yen because Japanese yen is a quote currency for all of them. So if all of them are looking a bit bearish, it means that the Japanese yen is strong. It's very strong. So that's why, JPY is going up and the others are coming down. So most of the other ones too may have a bearish outlook, just like the ones I've mentioned. Gabriel is asking cause of the gap. Gaps happen when there is sometimes if it's over the weekend gap, like in this case, it means in the course of the weekend, market doesn't open during the weekend. So market is quiet. Market shuts down Friday and reopens on Monday. But between Saturday and Sunday, maybe an economic event, a war, a political event, or something happened in that country that caused the market. Now, even though the market has shut down for that period, but there's an economic effect, on the market even though it's short. So by the time the market opens on Monday, it will lead to the gap. Gap just shows you the difference in price from when the market closed on Friday and when it opens on Monday. That is what causes gap. All right, Madam Manaji is asking me to check DJ30. So I'll check DJ30 and gold, and we may be done with that. For DJ30, price seems to be trading around a previous support down resistance. That is this support, and price is back as a resistance. And don't forget that the last week candle closed as a rejection candle. That's a doji. So technically, we will be looking at the possibility of a bearish reversal on DJ30. So we'll flip down to the daily. Even on the daily, there's an information here that was a previous rejection candle, which technically is expected to lead to some bearish movement. Let's go down to 4 hour and 1 hour. Okay, I think we had a bearish outlook on this instrument sometime last week. We're back to the same bearish outlook too. And the person asking about gap, you can see there is equally a gap on the DJ30. So it's purely most of the time is a weekend thing between the time the market shuts down Friday and when it opens on Monday. All right, so for DJ30, we have a rising wedge here. So we'll be looking at price breaking out below the lower trend line for us to trigger a sell. Please, if you're trading this instrument, make sure there's a clean breakout. A new candle opens below the lower trend line with your RSI clearly below 50. Very, very important. We need to follow the rules. Then you can trigger a sell downwards. So we're bearish on DJ30. And next is gold.
Thank you very much, sir. I'm
You're welcome.
grateful.
You're welcome, man. Now, gold closed, on this resistance, very, very strong resistance level last Friday. This is the weekly time frame. You can see two rejection candles, you know, very close to each other. Technically, we may be looking at the downfall of gold this week. All things being equal. Daily 4 hour is equally a key support level here from the daily. From the daily time frame, we have a key support level up there. Okay, so it looks more like gold might be bound in a range. On one side, let's go down to 1 hour. Let me see, check something out. All right, so either 1 hour or 4 hour price might have to drop lower first. Then we now look at buying. It's actually in a range. Buy back up. Now the question is, why can't I just take a sell if it will likely sell? We don't do that. Let it hit its support. Follow the rules. So if it drops to this support, then we can safely possibly draw a trend line if we can see that. Okay, we have one here, and we have a second one here to give us a falling wedge pattern. All right, so if it drops to this support, it will be around this falling wedge pattern. Then you can buy as it breaks out back up. You can buy back to the resistance zone. So I'm holding a bullish outlook, but that is after price has dropped to the support zone and has reversed back up. So that's my outlook on gold. Will the gap cause a profit for someone in that direction in an open trade? Of course, now if for the ones that we saw where the gap broke out upwards, if you have been on a buy before, let's say since Friday, definitely it will push the trade into profit.
All right, thank you.
You're welcome, sir. You're welcome, Benedicta. Mr. Damilari, how can I move my chart backward like yours? Because mine is close to the price. Okay, you mean yours is I'm not getting, you mean maybe yours is close. Okay, this is what I'll say. You can see I think you mentioned it, there's an arrow here. You can drag that arrow backwards. Just use your mouse. This is left click, then put the cursor and drag. So it will push the chart to the anywhere you want it, whether in the middle or you want to move it backwards, wherever. Just drag that tiny arrow up there. It will readjust the chart to wherever you want it to be.
The arrow is not on my chart, sir. That's why I asked the question.
It's
I
not on
don't know
your
where
own
to.
chart.
Yes, sir.
Are you on MT4 or MT5?
74.
Maybe it's a setting. It will likely be there. Probably the setting is not allowing it to show. Maybe the setting your laptop is, I mean, your MT4 is on is not allowing it to show. But even at that, if it's not working as expected, come up here and press these two buttons that are up here. You can also unselect, uncheck it. When you uncheck it, you can, okay, it's locked now. Then the first one, check the first one, and you can drag. Okay,
Thank
this
you.
one
I've
is
finished.
what? Is it working?
Thank you. I've finished. Yes, it's working. Thank you.
All right, all right. BTC, okay, about two people are asking about BTC. Rex, will the market come back to fill the gap? Well, I can't answer that question. It depends on market condition. Sometimes it may, sometimes it doesn't. So there's no rule around that. All right, we'll check BTC because we have quite some interest on BTC. Actually, it's part of what I analyze, but nothing much is happening around it for now. That's why I didn't bother talking about it. But for BTC, as you can see, its price closed on a resistance level on the weekly time frame last week. On the daily, price is still testing that resistance. Now, this is where the issue is. On the 4 hour is a range. Price is ranging around the resistance. Price is ranging. It's not having sufficient strength to either break out above or possibly reverse below. You can see even on 1 hour, it's still a range. But that notwithstanding, this is what I will say about it. All right, so we have a range here on 1 hour. If price breaks out above, that can signify a bullish trade. If it breaks out below, that can signify a bearish trade. But with all sincerity, if you want to trade cryptocurrency, I would advise you do XRP. It has a clearer setup with a higher level of probability than what we're seeing on BTC. If you joined us late, don't worry. Just once I drop the link, you can watch the video again. XRP is bearish and it has a high probability setup compared to BTC USD. When we drop videos or the recorded version of this analysis, we can always watch it. You know, the thing about this analysis is we're giving you direction quite all right, but it's actually educative because we'll break down, you know, what we're seeing on the chart to give you the insight into what to expect. So it's actually an educative session. So I will encourage that we click the link, you know, when we drop it on the WhatsApp group and watch it as many times as possible. The goal is so that you can become an independent trader. Here at PU Prime, we'll give you all the support. Yes, we drop signals, but we are keen on you being empowered to trade by yourself. Yeah, that's the goal, to make you an independent trader so that what if one day we're not here? You can still trade by yourself, or maybe you're somewhere you can't access, you know, our services. You can still trade by yourself. Thank you, Respecters. It's saying yes, sir. It's the education part that usually make me log in. Exactly. That's the goal. And I tell you, nobody does it better like PU Prime. We're the number one broker that is, having your interest at heart. We are not just giving you the fish. We are teaching you how to catch the fish. And if you're based in Abuja or Lagos, we run physical training sessions twice in a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays. So tomorrow, Tuesday, is another physical training session at both our Abuja and Lagos offices. The address of the Abuja office is PA Prime Africa Walk and Connect Building, 50 B2 Ukiwe Street, Jabi, Abuja. And if you're based in Lagos, the address is PA Prime Africa Lagos at Agos Executive Business Lounge, 54B, Adeniyi Jones Avenue, Ikeja, Lagos. The time for Abuja office training is 10:30 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and the time for Lagos office training is 11 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays. So take advantage and come to these locations to get trained. We'll do more. At the analysis session, sometimes the analysis, if you're a complete newbie, it may look a bit advanced for you. But if you come for the physical sessions, yes, we take you by the hand from beginners to become advanced, and within a while, you'll be able to trade by yourself. Okay, I think I've attended to all the requests here except okay, Euro GBP. Okay, that'll be the last one I'll check, and we'll be done with this analysis session. All right, so Euro GBP is trading around the previous resistance turn support on both the weekly and the daily time frame. So I think it's having a similar pattern to what we saw on the Euro AUD. Though the difference here is that the Euro AUD is giving us additional information of a double of the possible formation, let me call it that, the possible formation of a double bottom pattern. Now we don't have that on the Euro GBP, but notwithstanding, we have a falling wedge pattern, and we might be anticipating a breakout in the bullish direction. Don't forget our usual confirmation. If it's a bullish setup, then RSI above 50 will be the confirmation. So we have a bullish outlook on the Euro GBP. Thank you very much, Mr. Wasiu Shubandi, saying your session is always educative. You're actually on top of the game. Thanks for that comment. All right, so with that, we've come to the end of the morning analysis session. Don't forget to join us by 12:30 p.m. for the afternoon session. And do trade safe and have a great week ahead. Bye bye.
Thank you, sir. God bless you, sir.
Amen. You're welcome. Yeah, have a
Thank you, sir.
Many thanks.
Thank you so
Have a great day, sir.
much. I wish you a lovely day. So.
you
All
too, sir.
right. Yeah. Bye, everyone.
Bye
Very
bye.
wonderful lecture. Yeah.
You're welcome, sir.